Oklahoma newsroom, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for 5 and 5, Barry. Let's get right to it with this one. Did you care about the Mayweather Pacquiao fight?
Depends on how you define care.
All right.
Did I want one particular boxer to win? The answer is yes. I wanted Pacquiao to win. Don't care for Mayweather's off the ring antics with the domestic violence and those kinds of things. So I wanted Pacquiao to win clearly. But did I really care? No. I didn't follow it on the internet. Sort of forgot it was even being fought. Found out who won late at night. I was still up at midnight or whatever time it finished. So I got the results, but no, I can't. You know, I look at boxing as sort of like a ghost town. You're from Kansas, Dodge City.
Yeah.
You know, old time Dodge City. Now Dodge City's a modern town; you got a town to it, but the old part of Dodge City's more of a tourist attraction where people just come, and every once in a while they'll stage gunfights, and this city comes alive like in the old days. But it's sort of like the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight. About every 3 or 4 years, some fight comes along, and boxing sort of, hey, we're still alive, but not really. Boxing is a ghost town.
Yeah, I was aware it was going on, but I wasn't going to shell out $99 or whatever it was for the pay-per-view, or find somewhere where I could watch it, or find some sort of stream on the internet that was illegal. I didn't do any of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, boxing, I think once upon a time had a great place in Americana, no doubt about it. It was a huge deal. It was one of the premier sports, but it's really lost its way. And frankly, I think for boxing purists, from what I understand, this was a interesting fight to watch because Mayweather's such a defensive tactician. He was able to really figure out what Pacquiao wanted to do and then just stop it for the entire fight. But for anybody that wants to see excitement, I mean, this was like a NASCAR race without an accident.
Yeah, not a lot of
no flurries of anything. No excitement at all. Sorry, boxing. No. All right, what about this one, Barry? 3 months from now, will you remember who won the Kentucky Derby? Do you remember right now who won the Kentucky Derby?
I actually do, but it took me a few minutes to remember. When I saw this question, I said, no. I kept thinking, for some reason, I kept thinking the word Absalom. But at least I was somewhere in the Old Testament. Of course, it was American Pharaoh. So I was, you know, I was in.
You're in the right genre.
I was in the Old Testament, just not far back enough. It's going to be tough. If American Pharaoh doesn't win the Triple Crown, it's going to take. Now, he's got a cool name, so that helps.
Yeah.
If he had one of those other names of most of the horses he beat, it'd be impossible. So the name itself, American Pharaoh, might keep him in my mind into the summer, but otherwise, if he doesn't win the Triple Crown, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think really horse racing's kind of in the same predicament that boxing is, although for different reasons. I mean, we could probably spend hours talking about that, but it really is all about the Triple Crown. I mean, a year ago, I'm going to forget his name, but we had a horse that was on the verge of Triple Crown, and now I can't even place his name. I'm sure there are horse racing people out there going, I can't believe you can't remember the name of X. But I can't. I'm sorry, horse racing, but I watched the Kentucky Derby. I watched it. I mean, I picked a horse. There was a horse that had a rider in a pink and green polka dot getup, and I liked that. I thought it was colorful. Finished second. I can't remember, War Story or somebody like that.
War Story? There was a horse.
There was a War Story. It may not have been the right horse, but yeah, Triple Crown winner is big for horse racing. Would be huge for American Pharaoh. All right, Barry, what about this one? What is the biggest spring sport on our college campuses?
Not counting football? Let's not count football.
Yeah.
I think it's different depending on which school you're at.
That's probably right.
I think in Stillwater it's baseball. In Norman, I think it's softball.
Yeah.
I get a lot more questions, a lot more inquiries, a lot more people wanting to talk about Patty Gasso's team than the OU baseball team. Now, I think a lot of excitement in Stillwater over Josh Holliday and the baseball team, but I think softball has passed baseball as the marquee sport of spring in Norman.
Yeah.
Baseball with Josh Holliday getting better still sort of reigns in Stillwater.
I was out at the OU softball complex the other day. I've got a piece on Paige Parker, the phenomenal freshman pitcher for the Sooners coming out. And they've added some stands at OU. I don't know if they've maxed out their space on their seating at the softball complex, but it's got to be close. You know, I don't know if they're going to have to do some things to try to renovate to get some more space, but it's pretty clear that softball is a big draw and getting bigger at OU. But I think the same could be said at OSU. They're going to get ready to build a new facility at OSU, which frankly is probably the only thing at this point separating OSU from those really elite programs out there, you know, maybe SEC if you want to look there, because the team they have, it looks like it is building for here and now and the long term. Josh Holliday doing a great job. Once they get that facility, I'm not sure there's much standing between the Cowboys and, you know, contending on an annual basis. Really good stuff going on with OSU baseball. All right, Barry, what about this one? Our fun question of the week. It's graduation season, so who would you like to hear make a commencement speech?
Well, I mean, my pat answer is whoever's going to talk the shortest. But if you're asking me who in particular, I'll take two groups of people. I will take comedians.
Yeah.
You know, I think Chris Rock would be pretty fun to listen to at a commencement. And if you didn't want to listen to him, you could look at the faces of the people that he's talking to for entertainment. And number two, a retired politician. I don't want to hear a politician that's currently involved in politics or is running for anything. They don't tell you the truth. But once you get out, you know, once you get past the politics, people tend to tell you the truth. So, you know, Jimmy Carter, one of the Bushes, somebody that's, you know, sort of in the past, I could listen to a politician like that.
I could buy that. Yeah, I don't know if I've got any one in particular that I really would like to hear, but I always think that the best, and you can go out and find, you know, online or you can, videos or the written transcripts of some of the stuff that's been done by comedians. And to me, nobody remembers the commencement speaker at their graduation. They just don't, because that's really not why they're there. So the best thing you can do is have it be something that's lighthearted, something that's fun. I think you got to defer to the comedians to start with, and somebody that's a good storyteller. That's really what it's about. Somebody that tells good stories, and a lot of times comedians are the best of the storytellers. All right, Barry, this last one. What's the biggest surprise of the NFL draft?
I am going to say the fact that Jameis Winston couldn't even get through the day without reminding people what a knucklehead he is. Tweeting out the picture of him and the crab legs, just reminding people, hey, I'm a knucklehead, just don't let anybody forget about it. So I didn't see any big surprises with who picked who or who traded who didn't trade. But you know, with all the scrutiny and all the you know, all the connection he's made with Tampa Bay and the Bucs saying, here's what we need you to be, and in theory all the handlers telling him how to behave, and he couldn't even get through the day.
Yeah, not surprising really, I think, considering his track record. But I think locally, I don't know if this counts as a surprise, but I think it's a nice thing to come out of the NFL draft, if that's possible. But I think a guy like Blake Bell, who accepted a change in position, who went from, you know, everybody wants him to play quarterback when Andrew Jones is at OU, to he's a starting quarterback, to he's out of a job, to he's got to play tight end, and here he gets drafted. To me, that's a great story. I really thought his willingness to accept a role at OU and be okay with it, not become a problem, was a great example to a lot of people. Definitely helped that team. So to see him get drafted was a good thing. And then I always like when the walk-ons get drafted. So Aaron Ripkowski going to the Packers, you gotta like that. That's a great little story right there. And you know what? He's the type of guy you could see being a Packer for 10 or 12 years. So good for those guys to get to live that dream. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.